The galactic proving grounds had seen countless battles. Empires had risen and fallen here, their champions tested, their legacies forged. It was a sacred place, one where the strongest warriors across the stars proved their dominance. Today it was Earth's turn. The challenge had been issued by Vakthal the Unbreakable, the warlord who had never tasted defeat. His voice echoed across the galaxy, a declaration broadcast to every world. Humans, I have conquered the fiercest, broken the unbreakable. You hide behind words and treaties. You have no warriors, no strength. Prove me wrong. Face me here, or kneel. Laughter rippled through the galactic community. Humanity, fighting Vakthal. The idea was absurd. Earth had always been seen as the diplomats, the traitors, the ones who survived not through power, but through negotiation. The Council had long believed the humans lacked the warrior spirit necessary to stand among the great warfaring races. So when the response came, it was met with disbelief. Challenge accepted. There was no bravado, no threats, just 2 words. Vakthal grinned. The weak always made foolish choices. This would be no different. The proving grounds were prepared. His fleet, 1,000 warships strong, hovered above the battlefield, watching. His forces, elite, cybernetically enhanced warriors bred for war, stood ready. And then, Earth's forces arrived. A single diplomatic vessel, unarmed. No warships, no armies. Just a handful of officials in pristine suits, stepping onto the battlefield as if they were attending a business meeting. The warlord's laughter shook the ground beneath them. Pathetic. You send talkers to a battlefield. The lead diplomat, an older man with silver hair and a calm expression, simply adjusted his cufflinks. He looked up at the towering alien, unfazed. We were being polite. Vakthal sneered. You think words will save you? The man smiled. No, but let's see how you fight after we stop being nice. The air shifted. A distant hum, barely noticeable at first, then a rising vibration that sent a ripple through the ground. Above them, Vakthal's warships flickered. Then, all at once, their lights died. Communications cut. Shields failed. Engines stalled. The warlord turned sharply. What? The sky darkened. It wasn't a storm. It wasn't natural. Something else blocked out the stars. Blackout satellites. Thousands of them, deployed with surgical precision, jamming every signal, scrambling every system. His fleet was blind. Mute. For the first time in his life, Vakthal felt something unfamiliar. Uncertainty. The battlefield shimmered as hidden figures materialized, armored soldiers, their exosuits humming with restrained power. They hadn't arrived just now. They had always been here, cloaked, watching. No ceremonial duels. No warnings. Earth didn't fight fair. The first strike came from nowhere. A single kinetic round, moving at speeds no organic eye could track, tore through the nearest of Vakthal's warriors. A split second later, another fell. Then another. The battlefield exploded into chaos. Vakthal's elite, trained in the art of honorable combat, had no counter for this. The humans moved like ghosts, no wasted movement, no hesitation. Their weapons were silent, efficient. Some warriors never even saw their killers. Vakthal roared, Cowards! Face me properly. No answer came. Only a cold, mechanical voice whispering through the interference. You were expecting a fight. You're getting an extermination. The warlord swung his blade, severing the head of one of the soldiers, only for the body to dissolve into static. A hologram. A trick. Another soldier appeared behind him, aiming a weapon. Vakthal moved faster than most beings could perceive, crushing the weapon in his grip. The human tilted his head, unfazed. Ah, the soldier mused. They said you'd be fast. A sharp, high-frequency sound pulsed through the air. Vakthal stumbled. His body locked up for a fraction of a second, enough time for the soldier to slip away. They had calculated even his reflexes. Around him, his forces crumbled. The once mighty warriors of the Unbreakable Legion were nothing more than prey. The galaxy watched in stunned silence. For the first time, they understood. Humanity had never been weak. They had been patient. And now the patience was gone. Vakthal's mind raced as his forces fell one by one. Every expectation, every assumption about humanity, had been shattered in an instant. This wasn't war. This was a calculated dismantling. His warriors, handpicked from the strongest species across the galaxy, were elite, unstoppable in traditional combat. But this was something else. Humans didn't engage. They hunted. His soldiers fired wildly into the shadows, but nothing hit. The battlefield was a maze of illusions, holograms, misdirection, false targets. The humans moved unseen, striking only when necessary. Every bullet, every strike, wasted nothing. He bared his fangs. Asterisk, fight me properly. Asterisk. A voice, cool and mechanical, cut through the interference. Asterisk, we are. Asterisk. His sensors struggled to adjust as the battlefield shifted yet again. His warriors' armor, state-of-the-art, resistant to every known form of attack, was failing. Weapons short-circuited mid-fire, shields collapsed without warning. Then he saw it. Microscopic machines, swarming through the air, hijacking technology on a molecular level, nanites. The humans had unleashed a virus of war, turning his own armor into a prison. His warriors fell, screaming, as their enhanced bodies locked up, weapons turning to dead weight. He snarled, Asterisk, you rely on tricks. I am stronger than any of you. Asterisk. No response. The silence was worse than any insult. Another movement. Humans emerging from nowhere, slipping between the chaos, striking with mathematical precision. Every attack was planned. Every bullet fired only when necessary. No wasted movement. No wasted effort. For the first time in his life, Vakthal was outmatched. His kind conquered through power, through overwhelming force. The humans? They adapted. Evolved mid-battle. Every second, they adjusted to his strategies faster than he could form them. A drone whirred past his head, barely visible, firing a pulse round that sent his enhanced nervous system into a brief, agonizing lockup. He staggered. A second later, a blade slashed across his ribs, not deep enough to kill, just enough to send a message. They could have ended him just now. They didn't. They were toying with him. A growl built in his throat, but something colder was creeping in, suffocating his rage. Doubt. He had never doubted. Not once. But now, he was bleeding, his army was shattered, his fleet blind and crippled. He had lost before he even realized the fight had begun. And the humans knew it. Vakthal refused to accept it. His mind clawed for a way to turn the battle. But there was no battle left to fight. His forces, once the pride of the Unbreakable Legion, had been reduced to scattered remnants, disarmed, disabled, or dead. The humans weren't just efficient. They were merciless. Not in their brutality, but in their precision. Every move was calculated, every strike measured. They didn't waste energy on unnecessary destruction. They eliminated only what needed to be eliminated. His body ached from the wounds he hadn't even seen coming. His armor, once thought impenetrable, was now a useless weight clinging to his frame. The nanites had seen to that. His blade, forged from the densest gravity-warped metal, felt heavier in his grasp. His strength, his speed, none of it mattered. The battlefield had fallen silent. There was no cheering, no war cries, no boasts. The humans had simply finished the job and stopped. They didn't celebrate victories. They expected them. Vakthal staggered forward, his massive frame casting a long shadow against the battlefield littered with his fallen warriors. His breath came ragged, his mind struggling to grasp a reality where he was no longer the strongest. And then they appeared. A single figure stepped forward, clad in dark combat armor, the face hidden behind a reflective visor. The soldier moved with the ease of someone who had already decided how this would end. There was no fear, no hesitation. Vakthal growled, Asterisk, asterisk, finish it. Asterisk, asterisk. The soldier tilted their head. Not yet. The warlord's grip tightened on his blade. Asterisk, asterisk, you mock me. Asterisk, asterisk. A quiet pause. Then the soldier's voice, calm and deliberate. You thought war was about strength. It's about control. Vakthal's muscles coiled. He would not beg. He would die fighting. With a roar, he lunged, swinging his blade with all the power he had left, only for the soldier to sidestep effortlessly, as if the attack had been predicted before it even happened. A sharp impact. Vakthal barely registered the kinetic gauntlet slamming into his chest. He felt the force not just through his ribs, but through his entire body. His vision blurred. His breath caught. He was on his knees. The humans hadn't just defeated him. They had humiliated him. The soldier took a step closer. The visor reflected his own broken image back at him. You were never the strongest. You were just the loudest. For the first time in his existence, Vakthal had no response. Vakthal knelt in silence, his breathing ragged, his vision narrowing. The battlefield, the proving ground where he had expected to cement his dominance, was now a graveyard of his own making. His fleet still hung in orbit, powerless, its vast firepower rendered useless before a war they had never understood. The soldier before him didn't move, didn't gloat. The humans never wasted energy on things that didn't matter. This wasn't personal. It wasn't revenge. It was a lesson. He had spent his life believing strength ruled the galaxy. That war was won by those who hit hardest, who stood tallest. But humans, humans fought to win. Not to conquer. Not to dominate. To end the fight before it began. He understood that now. His warriors were still breathing. Not all, but enough. The humans had left them alive on purpose, not out of mercy, but as a message. Vakthal exhaled slowly. What now? His voice was quieter, but not weak. The soldier's visor reflected the warlord's own bloodied face. Now you go home. It wasn't a command. It was a statement of fact. A cold, absolute certainty. He clenched his fists. His instinct screamed at him to fight, to reclaim what was lost. But instinct had failed him today. Strategy had failed him. The very foundation of his existence had failed him. For the first time in his life, he saw the battlefield for what it was. The humans had never been prey. They had never been weak. They had been waiting. Vakthal rose to his feet. The weight of defeat pressed against him, but he forced himself to stand tall. He would not give them the satisfaction of seeing him crawl. He turned, motioning to the surviving remnants of his once mighty legion. They understood. There was no retaliation, no last-ditch resistance. The war was already over. As he walked away, he knew the truth would spread. The legend of Vakthal the Unbreakable had been shattered. In its place, a new legend would rise. Not of humanity's strength, but of their warning.